I'm Kimberly Agee, and this is my diversity book review activity. I love this activity. I thought it was really great to implement into classrooms. So the first book that I chose was Caribbean Dream by Rachel Isadora. And in this book, it really depicts the island of Caribbean from beginning to end. It starts at the beginning of the day and it goes all the way until nightfall. And there's an illustration for each part of the day. The book is very rhythmic in the way that it reads. Like the first few pages read, "Where morning meets light, we rise. Where friends meet friends, we smile. Where sound meets color, we hide." So I really love that because it's something that the children can read along with, and it's also a great read aloud book. So that was the activity that we would do. We would do circle time or group reading time, and we would do a read aloud with this book. And the illustrations are really great. So the kids could read along, turn the pages, and they could really get into that rhythm with this book. These are the two images that I chose. The image on the right is of an older woman speaking with the children, and at that point in the book, it says, "Where years meet story, we see." And then the other picture is the last page of the book, and it says, "Where darkness meets light, we dream, we dream." And so you can see that that is nightfall. I just really love that because you can just discuss how, someone older than the children has wisdom and they tell them stories, and you may even relate that to the children's grandparents or parents and who they like to hear stories from. And you can even use you as the teacher and discuss that during this book. But I just really love the illustrations in this book and the children that are depicted in the book. The second story that I chose was I Hate English by Ellen Levine. This is a really good story about a little girl, and her name is May May. And May May does not like the English language. She loves her Chinese language. She has moved from Hong Kong to China. I'm sorry, from Hong Kong to New York, and she really loves her Chinese language, even written. She says that the English language, all the letters are separate, and it's not like that in Chinese. So throughout the book, she doesn't say anything. She understands what the teacher is saying, but she does not use her English language. Often it says throughout the book that she's saying things in her head, and even when she's thinking the thoughts in her head, she's saying them in Chinese. Throughout the book, she meets a teacher at the community center, and that teacher takes an interest in her and is going to teach her English. Well, she takes May May on this journey, and she just yells at her, "Stop," at the end because she understands. And she was like, "I want to talk." And the teacher's like, "Good." So at the end, we find that May May is is excited about using both languages. And she learns that even though she's immersed in this English culture at school, she won't lose her Chinese culture. This book is meant for second grade readers. There's more words in this book. And so younger children probably can read this book, but it may be more difficult for them to read on their own. But they could definitely be explained what is going on in the book. And it's really good to teach children about their peers that may be learning a little bit differently. May May came from a culture that's very different from ours. And I think that a good activity would be a welcome book. So we could discuss not only how to welcome a student that's just moving here from a different state, but also someone that's moving from a different country and discuss what that looks like. We can study China and study Hong Kong and make that into a unit. And we can do that with lots of different books that are lots of different cultures. So that's why I love this book so much. And also with the welcome book, the students can brainstorm ways to make that student feel welcome and ways that we can learn about her culture. These are the two illustrations that I chose from this book. At the very beginning of the book, Mei Mei talks about how she felt smart in her school in Hong Kong, um, and how it's different here. So that's something else that we can discuss with the children is how our world might be a little bit different and how things that we see may not be exactly how other people see them from different cultures or different ethnicities or backgrounds. The third book that I chose was Jambo Means Hello. And this book is the book of the Swahili alphabet. This book is really great, especially when learning about a different culture. It starts out at the beginning of the book. It has a map of Africa and it shows where in Africa the Swahili language is spoken. So I think that is really awesome to just discuss the African culture and do like an entire unit on just different cultures. So this book goes from A to Z with the alphabet and different words in Swahili and what they mean. So a really good thing to do for this particular book would be to do an activity and have the kids pick their favorite Swahili word from the book. And this is a book that we can visit over and over again for this unit. But have them pick their favorite Swahili word and illustrate that word. Another thing you could do is an activity book. So you could do, I'm sorry, an alphabet book. So in the alphabet book, we would use just the English letter alphabet, and we would illustrate each letter of the alphabet in this book. And these are the two images that I chose from the book. The famous Jambo Means Hello that's on the front of the book, and H, um, Hiroshima, means respect. So the kids would pick one of those or a different letter and illustrate what they felt like the illustration should be for that word or phrase. And that's the end of my activity book. I really hope that you got something out of that. And I think this is a great activity to do to discuss diversity in our classrooms and to get the kids talking about different cultures.